Well, hey, good morning to you. We are here at the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Very beautiful morning. There's a storm coming. You can see it. The waves are ripping. In person, I've never seen waves this big. It's really quite beautiful. I was filming just a little bit over there, and then I got hammered with waves. So I think I'm far enough away this time. We'll see how it goes. But we are going through the book of Matthew verse by verse because I strongly believe, because the Spirit has opened my eyes, and I know many of you believe the same thing, is that the church is incredibly wicked, that they are ignorant to the teachings of Jesus Christ, not in what they say, but in what they do. And not like every church, but as a whole, the churches in America are totally ignorant to the teachings of Jesus Christ. They're kind of turning it into whatever they want to turn it into. And it's generally a Sunday show profit making machine. So I think it's important to go through this book verse by verse to really truly understand the depth of what Jesus is trying to teach us as we are stewards of the Christian church until he returns. And so far as a whole, we're terrible at it. So I want to see what it is we're really supposed to be doing as we prepare for his second coming. So where we are is Jesus is at this place where he was teaching in the synagogues, and he then started to draw such a crowd that he had to go out into the wilderness, and multitudes followed him there. And he then begins to teach, and we're getting really in scripture some of the very first teachings of Jesus Christ. And it's incredible, some of the first words that come out of his mouth as he stands there as a teacher, what it is we are supposed to learn. So I'm just going to pick it up where we left off, Matthew 5, verse 10. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they revile and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. All right, I'm going to pause there because that's where we left off last time. And we're going to talk about what he says here is, blessed are you when they revile and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. Because what he's saying here, and I find it fascinating that some of the very first things he begins to teach on how we should behave, because that's what this all is blessed are those who behave this way. Blessed are those who behave that way. They receive this reward. Blessed are those who behave this way, because they receive this reward. And we're at this place where he talks about how people revile us and persecute you, specifically you. This is to you. It was just to his disciples, but just like the disciples were when he ascended into heaven, we are the stewards of the Christian faith until he returns. And what he's saying here is, blessed are you when they revile and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. Well, why is he saying this? Well, 1 Peter 4:14 says, if you are reproached for the name of Christ, blessed are you, for the Spirit of glory and of God rests upon you. On their part, he is blasphemed, but on your part, he is glorified. So it's about glorifying God as the world reviles you and persecutes you. Somehow your behavior is going to glorify God, depending on how you behave. Philippians 1:29 tells us, for to you it has been granted on behalf of Christ, not only to believe in him, but also to suffer for his sake, having the same conflict which you saw in me, and now here is in me. Because it's about glorifying God. It's about honoring Christ, because doing the same thing he was doing, picking up your cross and following him. This is something the modern church in America truly does not understand. Because we don't have any persecution. We don't have any reviling. I mean, you might argue that maybe people make funny on social media or something like that, but that's as bad as it gets, man. That's as bad. It doesn't matter what you say on social media, people are going to give you a hard time. It's not a thing that we understand. And one day we will understand, be very clear, there will be a day where we will truly understand what it is like to be persecuted for Christ's sake. So we have to truly wake up as Christians in America, truly open our eyes as the church, as those of the stewards of the Christian faith, that we are meant to suffer. Like, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that this isn't the warm, fuzzy message that you were hoping to get. But if you're not suffering for Christ's sake, and I'm not either, so it's not like I'm sitting here just, under whips and chains while you all are just partying. Like, as in America, we just don't understand this concept. But it's very important that we wake up, because what we're going to see is, as Jesus continues, and the next message that we'll talk about is truly going to open our eyes to what it is that we receive. Like, well, what is the blessing? What is this thing that we are going to receive in heaven because we are persecuted here on earth for Christ's sake? Blessed are you when they revile and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. It's hard to take it in when somebody's falsely accusing you, but they did it to Jesus. I mean, he handled it like the only true example of how it should be handled.